Hello. All right. We're starting MindBody TV. Welcome here, everyone. I'm Dr. Kim Duramo. I have a really powerful topic today to talk about are you asking the wrong questions when it comes to your health? And this is one of the main focal points of what can either keep us on a never-ending treadmill of learning, practicing, doing this, doing that, diet, exercise, seeing practitioners, healing treatments, but not actually having expansion in our health. And it has everything to do with the consciousness we're living from, the questions we're asking. And this came up recently because we are starting the Embracing Health program tomorrow for our year-long live journey where I bring you through a really powerful integration of this work. And a lot of questions have been coming in, and it made me realize, actually, it was my manager, Laura, who realized you should address this from the vantage point of because she was seeing what I'm writing back was no, you're asking the wrong question. We could take a year treatise and answer that question you're asking, but it's not going to get us anywhere. What you could be asking is, and I thought it was a really great suggestion because the questions we ask really set the journey we take. And we either take a journey that creates massive expansion and joy and health and abundance and resources and flow, wealth, healing, or we set ourselves up on a journey of a freaking hamster wheel of scattered more, slaving, working, trying, almost maybe, and not actually getting the results we want or having a good time. And the journey always matches the destination, meaning you can't scamper and work your way to an abundant life. It's just not possible to do it. So if you find yourself on that journey of I'm not having a ton of fun with this, tune in because this session will be absolutely awesome. I would love to hear where you are listening from. If you are listening to the recording, welcome. For those of you who don't know me or maybe don't know me very well, I am a physician. I have retired out of emergency medicine completely after practicing and training in trauma and critical care. And really one of the places I see that the allopathic medical system is doing an amazing job, but not what I was really here to dedicate my life to. And I have always been really intuitive, able to read people's energy, able to feel what's going on in their body and feel into their emotions that most people are unconscious of, and really get to the core of what is keeping someone sick, what is having them not heal. We know the body heals itself. We know the mind and body are connected. We know that we are infinite beings having a physical experience, and we have access to infinite power, infinite wisdom, unconditional love. Why are we not accessing it? Why are we not seeing it show up to heal our bodies, to do unthinkable things, and to rearrange our lives? Because it's not that this isn't happening. It just may not be happening for you to the degree that you're ready for. So let's tune into this wisdom and let's access this possibility for yourself, your body, your life. So you begin really living instead of trying not to die. All right. So hello from North Carolina, Canada, Oklahoma, Natalie. Oh, Noelita. Hello. Hello from Vegas, Boston. I'm going to be heading out east for the summer. Ohio, Colorado, me too. Denmark, Montreal, Sweden, North Carolina, Southern California. Awesome. I'm really glad to have you here. Another Sweden, Vancouver, New York. Alrighty. NYC, youcanthrive.org. Oh, wow. A 17-year-old. Wow, a 17-year-old creating an amazing business is awesome. Kudos to you. All right, welcome. Thank you for being here. England, Spain, Florida. Yes, Idaho. Okay. Hello, everyone. Have a deep breath. And the first most important thing, especially when I start our group calls for Embracing Health or any of the mentorship groups I do, when you just take a deep breath, exhale, bring your awareness to your body, you really activate a whole deeper level of listening and letting in intelligence. In ordinary consciousness, we're kind of functioning on our regularly scheduled programs. That doesn't make sense. I don't understand that. I don't know what she said. I don't get it, because we haven't allowed a shift in our brainwave patterning. So we can't actually let new information in. It's kind of like the slow process, but we never really get there. So it's not really. Versus when we take a deep breath, presence our body 2% more, meaning feel what's happening within ourselves instead of just thinking and staying in the brain. Immediately we shift from like high beta functioning to slow beta functioning, or even alpha functioning, which is like a more meditative brainwave state. The slower we go, the more new information we can let in, the more old conclusions and data and BS belief systems we dump out. So it's just smart, right? Instead of like, I'm doing a million things, tell me something new, I want to learn something. Wait a minute. What do I actually want? What am I actually asking for? And am I creating space to let that in? So, always wise to do that first. Thank you for being here. I'm going to start. And one of the things I learned a long time ago from Tony Robbins, who is so genius and has connected this kind of wisdom with like masses and masses of people who otherwise couldn't hear someone like me, where it's like, this doesn't make any sense, but can really hear him with, you know, the space he's speaking from. For a lot of people, it's not going to be as powerful, but it's an entryway. It's an entryway for millions of people to really begin to shift their consciousness. And he always talked about ask better questions. In fact, I put it in my book, The MindBody Toolkit, right over here. And it is available on Amazon, drkimd.com/book. One of the tools I put in there for shifting your consciousness to heal your body, ask better questions. And I found for myself, having dealt with a severe autoimmune disease, chronic pain, depression, anxiety, I kept asking, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Because I thought I needed to fix it. But all it did was make everything worse. And until I began looking at what's right about this, I'm not getting. What is my body telling me here? That's a gift that if I would receive this instead of reject it, could let my whole life change. Not just now I'm pain-free, carrying out my regularly scheduled program. No, my whole life changed. My whole being changed. What's right about this? I'm not getting. So something as simple as that, ask a better question. And we're going to go deeper into one of these questions people have been asking for me about healing the body, and specifically about, hey, if I want to join the Embracing Health program, but what about this? And what you could be asking instead. So the first one is, does mind-body medicine work for my specific condition? Now, fill in the blank. Fill in any blank with any chronic illness or circumstance that's not getting better no matter what you do, right? So whether it's like, I'm going to 10 different dentists and no one can fix my teeth and I always have dental pain. Like I've seen it all, to like rheumatoid arthritis, thyroid disease, MS, cancer, irritable bowel, inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, like you name it, fill in the blank. And you can do that right here if you want to type it in the chat. Your mind, what you focus on, is going to create your chemistry, what's happening in the body, your hormones, your brain patterns, inflammation, or the opposite of that, right? Like we can decrease your cortisol levels. We can rebalance your hormones. We can allow inflammation to recede and resolve. So whether that inflammation is leading to cancer or rheumatoid or adrenal fatigue or brain fog, or my immune system's not functioning well, so I'm not clearing Lyme, or it's Epstein-Barr virus, or it's Bartonella, or maybe you have food allergies, multiple chemical sensitivities, like fill in the blank. What you focus on expands. What your records playing in your awareness of like, I'm not good enough, I got to keep working. And like you're living in protection mode and you're living in overdrive, or I don't like, I don't want to get around too many people. I'm sensitive to others' energies. And we hold that in our body. It creates tension. It creates toxicity. It impairs immune functioning. It impairs neurologic functioning. It affects every single cell in the body. It affects your DNA. So whether it's like trauma you're carrying from being young, or belief systems you're holding, or even experiences beyond your lifetime from like your ancestors, your grandparents, your great 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 grandparents, 7 generations down, the DNA is still affected. That means if someone was raped or slaughtered or lived through a depression, or maybe like had really powerful intuition and got, slaughtered as a result of it. That fear response, those conclusions, that protective mechanism gets locked into your body. It's carried in the information in your DNA. We see this with the study of epigenetics. If you haven't been introduced to Bruce Lipton's work, he's a really great person to tune into because he does good videos. It's really easy to understand. It's not too sciencey. And you kind of get like, whoa, my cells are conscious. He was a cell biologist working in a medical school, and everything in his research was showing him everything we're teaching in the medical school books is crap. It's not true. Your DNA doesn't determine that you're going to have this disease, that you're not going to have this disease. It's all of the epigenetics. It's the factors that affect your DNA. Your DNA is changeable. Your DNA is being turned on or turned off. It's not just this static thing, like everything he was teaching. And they kept telling him like, well, yeah, but that's all the new data. That takes about 20 years to infiltrate down into the curriculum of what we're teaching doctors today. You can't teach that in your curriculum. He, of course, eventually had to leave and stop teaching that and start teaching what he knew, which he's been very happily doing ever since. So the point is, every single chronic illness that's not getting better no matter what you do is somehow, I've seen in my experience as a physician, and everything I've ever read and studied has also confirmed this, is amenable to your consciousness shifting. Meaning, if you all of a sudden, move from a space of I'm not safe in the world, I'm inadequate. Usually, these are unconscious programs. You might not be aware of them, but they'll create this little bit of like underlying generalized anxiety that's kind of always there in the background. Or they'll create doubter, like, well, yeah, I can't have that. Or jealousy, right? Well, she can have that, but I can't believe, oh, I wish I could have that, where you don't realize that it's here for you as well. So all of this past trauma, genetic imprints, your own personal experiences and beliefs of the society that got handed down creates the way you see everything and creates the way you think, and immediately creates over and over and over these triggers that initiate disease. And there really hasn't ever been a chronic illness that's not been amenable to this. Not as a, oh yeah, we'll try that after we've tried everything else that we know is more powerful, but as the number one most potent, most powerful determining factor of whether you have health or whether you have disease. The number one most powerful factor. In fact, studies with depression show over 75% of the thing that's resolving depression and resolving anxiety is your mind-body connection, is the way you think, is your own consciousness, not a medication, not even let's go exercise every day, which is an awesome thing to do. Yes. But it's actually the way you feel about yourself and all of the unconscious programs running in your system. That's why I, as a physician, have focused on that as the number one, number two, and number three thing that I'm doing, because I have seen it heal diseases. I have seen it reverse anxiety. I have seen it reverse inflammation, even with things like cancer and tumors shrink. In fact, we just had someone a few weeks ago on MindBody TV in the MindBody Miracles series who reported this. And the reason I wanted people to report this themselves is because, well, 2 reasons, right? For me to say it is like one thing, and it's awesome, especially because people have gotten to know me and they know I'm not like just making stuff up, that I'm really passionate about this. But for someone else to say it in the space of like, oh my God, I never thought this could happen. I was really scared. I was really uncertain, but I chose my truth anyway. And here's what happened. And here's what my journey was really like. It wasn't rainbows and unicorns all in one fell swoop. It was like bringing up all the deepest challenges that I was hiding from. It was bringing up all the spaces that I was actively trying to avoid that I just didn't realize I could dissolve. And so the journey's pretty much the same for everyone, but it's unique to you in that your greatest fears are like, they might look totally different than someone else's. But when we meet them, we resolve that energy. We're no longer living with those fear circuitries running our adrenals and running and overrunning our thyroid or inflaming our bowel and our immune system, right? So then the body can heal. So that's kind of the first thing, right? And I've had people say, well, I've had retinitis, I've had retinal problems, and this is like a physical thing in my eye. And certainly like that can't be healed. Not true at all. I had someone with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a known genetic disorder, and the connective tissue is super stretchy and pliable. So her spine was constantly having like subluxations. She lived in severe, severe pain and was in a wheelchair, had to go to the chiro like almost every day just to sort of decrease the pain. After doing this work with Embracing Health, she no longer needed to go to the chiro all the time. She was no longer in a wheelchair and she was resolved the pain, right? She didn't keep subluxing because the alignment in her body stabilized. She's now homeschooling her child and has a really active life. She's not in a wheelchair anymore. It's massive. It's not insignificant. So even something that's like, well, this is a physical structural thing, right? My body's like out of alignment. I got to physically whack it back in. One of the biggest things I've seen is that when we shift our own inner alignment, which is really what we do in this work, the outer stuff responds. So there was more integrity in her spinal alignment. There was more integrity in her connective tissue. I've also seen people do this work and like the next day they have some resource. Like this one person the next day found exactly the right homeopathic that resolved her severe hyperthyroid situation. So did that just come out of nowhere? No. When you shift your consciousness, you shift your experience. Resources can come in. So things can be addressed. So things can be addressed at the physical level once we, hold on a second. Once we address things at the energetic level. It's very, very powerful and it's not uncommon. It's pretty universal. Sorry about that. All right, let's see if that, oops, that's not going to do it. Hang on a second here. Where's my screen? Okay, sorry guys. So that's important too, is like sometimes people are like, but I have a medical thing. I'm taking medicine. I have to have medicine to replete my thyroid. My doctor told me my thyroid's shot and it can't ever create a thyroid hormone. It's not true. It's not true. It's a possibility. You could live it as if it's true, but it's usually for most people, they're actually capable of resolving some thyroid function enough to be completely asymptomatic. And I'm not saying every single case, but maybe you get a new solution that's way more fluid and not as toxic. And you're like, whoa, I've never felt better in my life. It doesn't matter that there are no issues happening. It matters that you have a fluid resolution that actually works for you, as opposed to the like running the hamster wheel resolution, which is like, I can't eat this and I can't eat that. And if I avoid all these things and never go out to dinner with my friends, I'm going to survive. That's not necessarily thriving for you. And only you really know, like, what is actually in my joy? What is actually my highest solution? So when we shift our alignment, resources can come in if there are things to also address physically. All right. So the other, let me just see what we have for comments. Lisa, EDS. Oh, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome in my body too. I'm signing up to the Embracing Health and I'm curious to see what's ahead. Oh yeah, you should be. It's going to be very exciting. April, I'm here by recommendation from AEP, which is Kyle C's. The first time listening, I'm excited to be introduced to another powerful person to help my journey. It's been difficult for me. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Peripheral neuropathy, epigenetics is so fascinating, that perspective along with evolutionary medicine. Yes. And what was his name? Oh, KR. What was whose name? Oh, Bruce Lipton. Sorry. Bruce Lipton is awesome. I interviewed him several years back, but he's just a great resource. The Biology of Belief was, I think, his first book. I've read all of his stuff. I started studying mind body medicine when I was like 16 years old because I had a severe anxiety disorder that no one could help me with. And this was quite a long time ago. I didn't know a single person who had anxiety. That's how long ago this was, let alone like panic attacks. So I felt super, super alone. And there was no one talking about like breath regulation or mind body or any of that. So I started like trying to find books and get myself assisted. Frozen shoulder. Yes. See, a lot of these things you think like, well, yeah, but this is a physical thing. We got to inject corticosteroids in there. Otherwise, no, your body can resolve inflammation. In fact, what is keeping your body in the inflammation of frozen shoulder? Think about it. When we're in fight or flight, flight, and freeze, right? We're scared stiff. There's stiffness. The shoulder doesn't want to move. It's the number one most mobile, increased range of motion in your whole body. And then it's frozen. Where am I frozen? Where am I scared stiff? Anxiety, fear. It's not okay to move forward. There are specific emotions that will be linked to these inflammatory conditions. Hi from Serbia. Oh, that's exciting. Hi from England, Florida, Spain. All right, so here we go. The second question I wanted to bring up is, this is really, really, really common. Most of the people who are finding my work have explored everything. I was the same way, like highly motivated. I'll read anything. I'll try anything. I'll do this diet. Like, what's gonna really help? But until I learned to tune in for the clarity and the guidance, the things I was doing weren't necessarily actually getting me anywhere. And some of them were very, very costly. I chose to chalk it up as a learning experience, and it was all an investment that got me more clarity into what happens when I'm not in my connecting with my wisdom. What happens when I'm disconnecting even a little bit? I'm like scattered. And what gets created when I do connect. And so a lot of people have asked me, I've invested so much. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, whatever it may be. How do I know this will work? How will this be different? And then I also kind of along the same lines had people say like, what if this doesn't work for me? Can I try it and then get a refund? And here's what I have to say about this. The most essential component is not that you listen to what I say and I say, this is what you should do. This is the best thing in the world. It's that you listen to what your wisdom is telling you. And your wisdom may say, yes, ding, 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 what Kim just said. Yes, ding, 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 go with what Kim is doing. It may, but it has to be your wisdom showing you what is the truth and what is the resolution for you. So if you look into something like the Embracing Health work and it's like ding, 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 whoa, something in me is totally lighting up. That's an indication that your wisdom is showing you the resources that are here to assist your expansion. But if you're disconnected and you're like, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars like over your life just searching and searching and searching. And maybe things are useful, a little here and there, but not like, oh my God, that was my $1 million moment. That was worth everything 1,000 times when I invested. That was my yes. So if this does light up for you, and if what I say in a MindBody TV episode or what is offered in the Embracing Health program lights up, just take a moment, breathe. All right, is this coming from my clarity or is this coming from my mind? Because the mind's going to be like, yeah, do that. Yeah, do that. The mind, some of us, is programmed to keep you very, very busy and distracted, but never actually get to a new space, to a new you. The mind is designed to keep the old you intact. It's like the protective ego. So if you want to go beyond what the mind already knows, what you already have experienced and who you already have been being, you've got to access something deeper. And that is through the heart. The higher self knows, yep, take a right turn here. Yep, call this person right now. Yep, take that job. Nope, walk away from that person. It knows, but are you listening? Because our system is receiving billions of bits of information each moment. But if you're on the channel of, I got to stay safe, I got to stay safe, I've got to make sure I don't lose money, I've got to make sure, I survive, you're going to be picking up on very different pieces of information than what would it take for me to step into prosperity now? Different question. So if you begin asking, and I don't think I gave you a different question for number one, right? Does it work for my thing? What you want to begin to ask is, am I willing to go beyond the experience I'm having now? Whether it's your eyes or your Ehlers-Danlos or your fibromyalgia or your chronic fatigue, am I willing to be who I need to be healthy? Because it's not about the disease. And we're not focusing on the embracing health work. We're not focusing on the disease, right? Oh, well, what if it's inflammatory bowel? Oh, then you do this thing. Oh, what if it's ulcerative colitis? Oh, then you do that thing. Oh, what if it's my thyroid? Oh, well, then we have to do that. Oh, what if it's my migraine headaches? Oh, we're going to give you a different regime. No, it's all the same thing. Because what brings the body out of harmonic alignment, self-healing, and resilience is like the same stuff. Shame, fear, separation, right? So we blame others when something's happened. I feel separate, inadequate. I'm not good enough. I've got to work harder, right? If I'm separate, then I've got to get the thing. If I already am that unity, I can just receive it. I am what I'm seeking. Oh, let me open to receive that experience or that solution. So that's a new way. That's a new question, right? Is like, who would I have to be to live in health? What would I have to let go of for this illness to dissolve? And so with number two, right, I've invested so much money is, am I choosing from my clarity or am I choosing from my mind? What would it take for me to choose from my clarity? Because anytime I'm like, if this doesn't work, can I have a refund? It's like they're trying to put the responsibility outside themselves, which is always going to keep, first of all, it's going to increase your inflammation. It's always going to keep you in lack. Versus, what if I am 100% responsible for all of the outcomes in my life? For this thing that didn't work, for that thing, this doctor failed me. I used to have a lot of patients come and be like, all my doctors have failed me, but I know you are going to be different. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not responsible for your outcome. You're responsible for your outcome. And if you've seen the same outcome with 10 different doctors, the common denominator is you. What are you doing with the information? What are you choosing from? Are you choosing from, you're my savior? Are you choosing from, yep, this is my clarity. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm choosing. Because two things. One, every time, even if it's only 2% more clarity, because it's like, I don't know, maybe I am a little disconnected. Take a breath and be 2% more connected, right? Feel 2% more what you're feeling in this now moment. Be 2% more aware and dropped in to sensation. You will always choose higher when you do that first. You'll always choose from greater clarity because you'll be like, you know what? Something about it doesn't feel right. I'm just going to honor that. Or you're like, ding, ding, ding. And then the mind's like, no, you don't have the money. No, remember last time it failed you. And you're like, nope, I know that, I know that, I know. Boom, I'm going forward. It will override the programming. But you have to get to your clarity. I have a little exercise I shared on the frequently asked questions page for Embracing Health. It's like a 3-step exercise to get your clarity. I think it's on my YouTube as well. But it's at drkimd.com/EHFAQ, Embracing Health, Frequently Asked Questions. drkimd.com/EHFAQ. So that's a useful little tool. Is like, am I choosing this for my clarity? Because what you're going to see is every past thing that had you like, quote unquote, fail was like, wait a minute, I was choosing from fear. I was choosing from grasping. I was choosing from save me, so I can avoid the experience I don't want, as opposed to like, I'm going to choose the experience I do want. I choose wholeness. I choose health. I choose prosperity, period. And nothing can stop you. Nothing. The little voices that are like, but you don't have the money, but you tried that. It won't work for you. They don't have any power anymore when you get to your clarity. So the question you could be asking is, am I willing to choose from my clarity? And what if I am 100% responsible for my outcome? What would I create then? So when you choose from your guidance, it's not like, but if it doesn't work, can I get a refund? It's like, all right, my guidance is telling me go through door A. If I go through door A and a big tiger jumps out, and I know that I know my guidance led me to door A, I'm going to be like, I'm going to look right at this tiger. All right, what are we doing? What's right about this? I'm going to receive the tiger. Instead of, oh my God, I must have done something wrong. I thought I was clear, but this is definitely not what should have happened. So I must be wrong. I mean, how quickly we're willing to make ourselves wrong versus receive our experience. Because what if I do have the power within me to stand in the space of that tiger and be totally fine? But if I'm in the conclusion that I'm weak and I'm powerless, I'm going to run and make it wrong. And then I'm going to hole up like, I'm never going to try anything new again because that shouldn't have happened. Well, what if that's exactly what should have happened? Because what happens very often is you come into a program like this, people will literally tell me as soon as I clicked on the link, as soon as I registered, my whole body felt different. Everything shifted. I felt so much lightness. I felt my power. A lot of people also tell me as soon as I came in, everything intensified. Oh my God, that must be a bad thing. Maybe I chose wrong. Or they get in so much fear because your system is registering. You are stepping into a new frequency. And if you can take 10 breaths when that happens, when that arises, when things intensify, that is your first opportunity to use your potency and let the energy dissolve. Because the only thing keeping the inflammation is in place is you running from your fear, is you running from the intensity. Things got worse. Oh no, I need more medication. That's what we do, right? Versus like, yep, things are intense. I'm going to breathe bigger. This is the energy that's moving out. This is exactly what I'm choosing. I am not this energy. I am the consciousness observing it, and I can let it dissolve. And that's when your breath really begins to be a transmuter. So don't run away. When things intensify, find more strength, which is like everything we're doing in the program. You're going to find strength you never knew you had, you never even imagined you could access to let all of this dissolve. Okay, so the next question I have is, what are my chances? I have blah, 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 blah disease. What are my chances? And this is another thing where I'm putting the power outside of myself. What are my chances? It's not about the textbook. The textbook will say, well, if you have blah, 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 you have about a 40% chance of ever being free from pain. It's all BS. It's all a belief system. It lies in the frequency of those conclusions. When I went to the allergy doctor many years back, and he told me you have this rare form of late onset juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I'm screwed. And then I realized, like, wait a minute, that's not my truth. That's his world. That's his reality. That's not the truth I'm functioning from. What else is possible? What's actually going on? And went to an infinitely deeper level of like, what's really playing out here in my body that's ready to resolve versus, oh, I have this thing. Okay, I have to only eat these foods and I can't use these cleaning solutions. And he's like, you can't have curtains or rugs, or you have to have a controlled living environment. And I immediately felt all the tension of that. And I'm like, no. That's not my life. That is not my solution. I chose to function in a frequency and consciousness that goes beyond where he was functioning from. He's functioning from A plus B equals C. You have this, you're always going to have that, right? You're inflamed. This is how your system works. This is what's going to happen. And I'm like, why is my system inflamed? What would it take for my system to be in harmony so I'm not reacting against dog dander and dust mites and all the allergens I was reacting against, right? What would it take for my body to be in harmony? And I immediately had that awareness. So instead of what are my chances, how committed am I to my full awakening and wholeness? How committed am I to being the space that my body requires for me to be in resilience? How committed am I to releasing whatever I need to release that will allow my body to be in harmony? Because it's always behind the door of like the greatest attachment. I'm never going to forgive that person. Or like, no matter what you do, it's people will have like the other shoe's going to drop feeling. Like it's always the other shoe's going to drop. Don't be too happy because it's surely not going to work out. And they hold that. Well, that's another conclusion. What if letting that go and like really letting life in that will have you feel your greatest disappointment to a higher degree, right? Because that's going to move out. Let's more love in, let's more abundance in. And living from this conclusion of like, I've been hurt before, I'm not letting that happen again. And we hold these energetic walls. What if that's the actual thing that needs to be released for your body to be in harmony? Because holding those tensions and holding those protections is toxic. Like it is directly toxic to your cells. We don't think necessarily that energy affects the physical, but it directly affects the physical because your cells are energy. First and foremost, your cells are energy. We look at the cells, you look under the electron microscope and you see like the core of every little molecule is the atom, right? We got the molecules, we got the atoms, and then you got the subatomic parts, even smaller parts that actually make up the atom. And then when you look deeper and deeper, you see none of it is physical. None of it is matter. It's actually just energy moving. And all the energy is connecting with all the other energy. The energy of the table, the electrons of the table are bouncing in and out of the table and bouncing in and out of the substance around the table. They're not solid and they're not separate. Everything is energy. And if your cells are energy, you better believe they are immediately and profoundly susceptible to these energy shells of, oh, well, they said that blah, 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 but I don't believe it. So we protect ourselves, right? Or yeah, things are good, but I mean, I'm just holding out. I'm not going to really claim it because if I say it, it's going to get worse. Like we do these things and we play these games and we don't even realize it's so unconscious that we're holding these energies of tension. We're holding these energies of doubt. We're holding these energies of fear. We're holding these energies of hurt and pain. That's why we don't want to forgive. We have too much pain that we haven't met. What if we meet our pain? What if we meet our pain with so much compassion that every part of us opens up so fully and releases all of that energy? How healthy would my body be now? So the question we could be asking is not like, what are my chances, right? Because if I stay in this frequency and consciousness of holding, protecting, and like, let me just make sure everything's okay, yeah, you're probably going to keep walking down that trajectory. But that doesn't mean anything because we can shift your consciousness and then everything changes. So how committed am I to letting go of everything I think is true? That's a great question, right? Because that's what's going to happen. How committed am I to letting a whole new reality come in where I'm whole, where I'm free, where I'm healthy, where I'm vibrant, where I'm abundant? How willing am I to let that come in? That's the question to ask. How willing am I to let in a whole new reality? As soon as you ask that question, you're going to feel the walls. You're going to feel where you're like, oh, I'm not so sure about that. You're going to feel the doubt. Good. Keep asking the question and keep breathing to let the energy move. That is like one of the most potent keys you could possibly have. I realized at that moment, oh, Jaria. Oh, what did I just miss? Sorry. It's all BS. A few months ago, when I listened to one of your live podcasts, my ego suddenly said to me, she's not real. You are dreaming. Don't listen to her. Wow. I told my ego to go F off. And what you could just say is, I love you, I love you, I love you. Because it's only the part of us that's hurting that does that. It's trying to protect you. It's not and that's fine. It's a first step to be like, go F off. But it's actually an even bigger ninja step to say, I love you, I love you. You are welcome here, exactly as you are. Jerry, I realized at that moment how much my ego was reaching to keep me stuck in my old life, limitations, and beliefs. Okay, so for this one, for number 3, you want to look at, where am I complaining? Where am I, oh, can you believe he said that? And then blah, blah, blah. And he actually thought I was gonna, right? Where am I griping? Because that's where I'm buying into my powerlessness. And that's going to just keep me in the same cycles I've already been in. So where am I complaining? Where am I jealous? Jealousy is always me seeing the reflection of myself, of what's here for me, with the barrier of I can't have it. Right? Me seeing something, life's like, hey, how about some of this? And then I'm looking at through the filter of I'm not allowed to have it. I'm not worthy. So then instead of seeing it as, oh, ooh, yes, me too, please, I'm looking at it as, oh, how come she gets to have it and I don't? Oh, one more example of it's not for me, right? I'll feel it as jealousy. So looking at catching yourself in the act of those things, and like the criticism and judgment, that's a third one. Where am I judging and criticizing? That's another layer of protection. Would I be willing to let go of judging and criticizing in order to really have my wholeness, my life, my joy, my vitality, my health, right? So that's the question to ask is, how willing am I to let something big in? All right, the next question is, a lot of people have been asking, but will I get my one-on-one attention? But will I be able to have my questions answered? But how much attention will I have? Because I have a lot of big questions and I want to make sure. And so that's the mind trying to control. What if stepping into, in this case, I'm going to use the Embracing Health program, but it could be anything. Maybe your inspiration's like, ding, 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 go and do that diet, or go play with your friend, or go do this thing. Yeah, but if I do it, am I going to have what I need? Am I going to have this thing? And we're like trying to get in control. And so a lot of people will say, well, how much one-on-one will I have? Well, how many people will be in there? Will I have enough attention? What if the right question, the question you could be asking is, will this assist in my ultimate health and wholeness? Will this opportunity, will this Embracing Health program, will this, whatever it is, it's on the plate, will this assist with my ultimate health and wholeness? Will this contribute to my ultimate health and wholeness? And there's a really cool energy practitioner called Christy Marie Sheldon. And she used to apply this more around like money and wealth in her choices. And she used, in one of her programs, she talked about everything she would look at investing in. Will this make me rich? Will this make me rich? Will this make me rich? Now, you have to have your own definition of what rich means, because she was more about like, is this going to make me money? But that may not actually equate to wealth, right? Like maybe you're going to make a lot of money selling yourself out, doing this thing you don't really love. But sorry, I'll repeat that because it just glitched. So maybe something's going to make you a lot of money, but it's kind of like compromising yourself doing something you don't love. So will this make me money isn't necessarily the highest question, but I massively appreciate how she used this in its simplicity. So we always want to refine that, which I know is where she was functioning from with it. So just to clarify, you want to be clear in your system. Will this ultimately serve my wholeness? What is my wholeness, right? I'm thriving in my relationships. I am vibrant in my health. I feel so grateful when I wake up in the morning that I get to be me and be in my life for this one more day. That's, for us, that's wealth. I get to do work I love and I really care about, and people are grateful in seeing their lives expand as a result of it. That's wealth. So anything, is this going to contribute to my health, wealth, and abundance? That is really the question you want to ask. But will I get one-on-one attention? But will I get all my questions answered? Is actually irrelevant. The mind thinks you need all your questions answered, and then you'll have what you need and be in mastery. But it's total crap. You do not need any of your mind's questions answered. In fact, I had someone in our ambassador group write to me like a week ago, and it was like a book, and I'm scrolling through like she doesn't think I'm going to read this whole book. And I asked her, I wonder if you could condense this down to 3 sentences. You could condense your actual question. What are you actually asking for here? And I said, bonus if you can do it in 2. And she's like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to do it in 1. And then she asked this question, and it was like, how do I know if blah, 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 blah? Or, it was something like, how do I know if the reason things aren't working out is because I've just got to be more patient and let it come in, or I'm not aligned enough and it's not working out, so I need to do more work. And I read the question and was like, ew, this is the mind trying to keep you busy. Like, how complex is that question that you're like, what does it mean? How would I even figure that out? How would I distinguish between those two? And I said, you know what? What if you don't even need to ask that question? Like, what if you don't need the answer to that question and you could be in wholeness anyway? Would you be willing to let that in? And it's really asking, like, what if the mind didn't get what it thinks it needs? Would you be willing to be in ultimate health, wealth, and wholeness anyway? And that's a little tricky because sometimes we're like, but I have to just get this first. It's a hit. It's a dopamine hit. The mind's like, I need my fix. But you know what happens? Because I've run this Embracing Health program for years and years and years and years, and I used to answer all the questions. What happens is it's like, oh, okay, I got it. Okay, now I understand. Whew, I feel so much better. Oh God, now I feel bad again. I got to answer this question. Oh, I got another question. Okay, I have a question. Just please answer this question. If I just get this question answered, then I've got the key to the world. Here, answer my question. Oh, wow, I got such a breakthrough. Wow, thank you for answering my question. That was so great. Oh, I feel so much better. My world has just totally lit up. And then they go back through the cycle again and again and again. And I realized, like, wait a minute, I could give you a fish or I could teach you how to fish. And so one of the things we are massively doing in Embracing Health is we are transmitting the consciousness of the whole group, not one person at a time. And yes, individual question. I'm already looking at every single post that's in the Facebook group. And then I'm asking myself, what do these individuals really need that will move them beyond that space and consciousness of answer my question and actually move them into their wholeness, where either the question is answered and obvious, or it is completely and utterly obsolete, which is usually the case. You don't need your question answered. So, will I get one-on-one attention? Will I get all of my questions answered? What would it take for me to receive what I truly need, right? So will this program bring me will it bring me into the health, wealth, and wholeness I'm actually asking for? Because maybe you don't need any one-on-one attention. In fact, most people that have been in the program are like, I got so much from what this one person said. My whole reality shifted when we looked at that, when you addressed that. It doesn't need to come from you. So are you willing to operate in unity, which is like the whole collective is elevated into a higher space? Are you willing to receive at that level? Because it will require you to surrender but I'm just a separate, powerless being and I need this question. And to sit with the discomfort of not having that question answered. And to sit with I feel so lost of not having that question answered. And to sit with but I'm confused. And take 10 breaths and actually see the confusion dissolve and clarity emerge, because you have the power to do that. You 100% have the power to do that. And if I show you how to do that, that is a lifelong, infinite value skill. That is a lifelong skill of infinite value, that for the rest of your life, you know how to access your wisdom for what you actually require, instead of living the rest of your life in the mind where you're like, I got to get a hit from this one. I got to get a hit from that one. And constantly moving from like guru to guru, program to program, medication to medication, like resource to resource. It's very different. So thank you. Lisa said, I love the way you talk about the egoic mind. It's very true and funny. I know, because I've had one. Oh! And it is. It's funny. If you can let it be funny, you're like, I see you, sweet little mind. All right. What am I going to do with that? I'm trying to eradicate the ego. That was not fun. And that didn't actually get me anywhere. Okay, let's try something else. So sometimes we just move our way into awakening by paying a lot of attention to what's not working and paying more attention to, like, whoa, what would it take for me to have a lot of fun with this? What would it take for me to see something so powerful show up in my life and my world? And that is a very different question. Thank you guys for being here today. Mark said, I remember my younger days telling people solids, wood, steel, while feeling solid were actually energy. I forgot. Yeah. All right. Can you please resist the questions? Maybe restate the questions. Is that what you're asking? Jaria, I realized. Oh, yeah. She already, I read that one. Kim, for anxiety, is it better to take the mind body solution for anxiety or embracing health? Embracing health is more deeply comprehensive. This is actually also on the frequently asked questions page because we had a lot of people ask. We basically took a lot of pieces that we are integrating in embracing health. We're doing the work live. We're doing this together. And then we extracted nuggets for the anxiety program, for the pain relief program, for the chronic illness and brain fog, chronic fatigue program. And we've extracted those out because I know not everybody's ready to invest at this level to work with us live over the year. We have the DIY programs, right? They're a lot lower investment, so it's accessible to more people, and you're welcome to use one of those home study programs if working live with us is not really the best fit for you. If you are ready to go deeper and have our assistance with this work, we're integrating a way more comprehensive consciousness through the Embracing Health program. So I would choose that if it resonates with you. Christina, I followed you. I love your work and have followed you for about 8 years from an early Tapping World Summit, but I do not feel called to spend such a large percentage. So that's okay. It's not for everybody. And everyone doesn't have to do, something, even if it's awesome, do it if it's for you. So I don't know if that even needs to be stated. If you know, then you have it. Trust your knowing. Anita, I learned long ago that the last doctor, teacher, etc., is always the best and the right one. Instead of all this is my path and will bring me growth. Hold on. Is always the best and right one. Yeah, what I've chosen and what's been on my journey is the right journey, is the right thing. You're amazing, Donna. Your advice is spot on, but your own body and mind know what you need in there, in here, in the here and now. Sorry. Let go and let God help you through the journey and breathe. Yes. It's like you could have this amazing person who's like, oh my gosh, she's great. But the only greatness I can possibly have is by pointing you to the greatness in you. That's it. Anything else you think I have is just your ego projecting your own greatness and saying you don't have it. Oh, Kim's so great, right? Or not saying you're doing that, but you think, oh, this person's so great. And you neglect that, like, I'm just mirroring the greatness in you. And vice versa. Anything that irritates you that you're like, well, she's just so is irritating your rejection of you. Like and I know this because of my own journey too, right? Like, she's just too, people used to say to me all the time, you're just way too happy. Oh, you just have way too much energy. Eek, right? It's like, where are you not letting yourself be fully alive? So it's wrong if I do. And, I've seen irritations or judgments I'll have of other people. Like, I can't, if people are closed-minded, it used to drive me bananas. And it was like, where am I not in total acceptance of closure? Like, I have to be open. I mean, you always can look. Everything in life is a mirror. Are you willing to grow and receive it as a mirror? Is the different question, right? How willing are you to awaken? How willing are you to have all your power? Once you're willing to really have your power, you're going to receive your triggers like a freaking ninja warrior, which is a major, major thing we're doing in Embracing Health. It's like you receive life with everything you've got. Boy. All right. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'll be here every week live from MindBody TV at 11 a.m. Mountain Time in the MindBody community in Facebook, on my YouTube channel. Subscribe in my YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Hit the bell so you know when we are here. This massively assists for other people to find this work. People who are looking exactly for this kind of work will find it when you like, when you subscribe, because that's how the algorithm works in there. But you know what? The universe is actually in charge of all of it. So I know that people who are ready will find this. We are at drkimd.com, the program for Embracing Health. If you would like to join, we start tomorrow. Tomorrow is June 9th, and we have our first monthly live call. We'll also have weekly group check-ins in our online community. So there will be a lot of interaction throughout this year. The link is at drkimd.com/health. I will put it in the comment here. If this work resonates you with at all, check out the page and just feel it out because it will speak to your heart and you'll actually receive awareness. Even if you don't register, you just kind of looking at the page and seeing like, whoa, what's possible? What other people have experienced with this? Wow, someone who is exactly where I feel I am, where I'm like, I'm confused. I don't know how to do this. Could this actually work for me? And had the massive, massive result beyond what I could imagine. You'll see yourself in them. So it can be really powerful to look at the page at drkimd.com/health. All right. Thank you guys. I love you. I'm so glad you're here. And I'll see you soon. Many, many blessings. Bye.